Welcome back, everyone. And since my last video, this presidential election has changed dramatically. I want to first start off by saying I fully supported Joe Biden. I donated money, time, and effort to both the 2020 and 2024 campaign. And I could not be more proud of my vote for Joe Biden in the 2020 primary, in the 2024 primary, and the 2020 general election than I was yesterday. Joe Biden made a hard, courageous decision to end his presidential campaign for the betterment of the country. He looked at the numbers. He saw that members of his own party were calling for him to end his campaign. And he understood that he, at this moment, very likely would cause Donald Trump to return to the White House. And as he has made the argument many times, and many of us who support him have made the argument, that is an option that we cannot allow to occur. And he ended his campaign. And then he threw his full weight and support behind his loyal and dedicated Vice President, Kamala Harris. And she has now picked up the torch and is going to run the rest of the race. So let's talk about a little bit how this, I think, affects the race. So she is still a little behind. I think it's still a little early to judge the impact based on polling. We're not even 48 hours removed from the president ending his campaign. But there was a subset of voters that showed up consistently in polls that they called the double haters. These were people that just could not stand the thought of voting for either Trump or Biden for a variety of reasons. They didn't like them. They thought they were both too old. And their thought process was, out of 33 million Americans, 330 million Americans, these are the best two. You've got to be kidding me, is what these voters said. And one of those candidates has now no longer a candidate. And I got to think that shakes up things a little bit. I also think that this galvanizes young voters. Young voters were a demographic that sometimes President Biden struggled with. And now they have a new candidate, to support and get engaged with. I think it also, just based on the past 24 hours, Democrats have opened up the pocketbooks, and there's been a flood of endorsements for Kamala Harris. The coalescing around her has been a good thing to see. And I also think it allows Democrats to frame this election as the prosecutor versus the felon. And three of the potential candidates that have been talked about as Kamala Harris's running mate are, like her, former attorney generals. And I just think that, and the other one's an astronaut. So, who knows? But we are in unprecedented times, and I could not be more excited to support Kamala Harris and whoever she picks as her running mate. I was fully behind President Biden, but in the past couple of weeks, after that debate performance, I began to say it was time for him to do the right thing and I'm so glad that he did. And I think it will enhance his legacy so much because his legacy, had he stayed in the race and lost, would not be the president who saved us from COVID, saved us after the insurrection, and preserved American democracy. No, it would be the president that allowed Donald Trump to return to the White House. And now, his legacy will be all of the accomplishments he's had legislatively in office. It will be turning around an economy that was in tatters after COVID, and preserving American democracy after the 2020 election, and defeating Donald Trump, and standing down and relinquishing power when he didn't have to. It's remarkable. It doesn't happen a lot in countries. We're used to the orderly transfer of power in this country, and think it's the norm around the world. But sadly, in too many countries, it's not. And a leader assessing the facts and saying, I'm going to put the country ahead of my own personal ambitions. It's one of the best things you could ever see. And I am so proud to support, not only to have supported and continue to support until January 20th, President Biden, but our new nominee, Vice President Harris. So, also, the Senate election videos will change a little bit. Instead of talking about Donald Trump or Joe Biden winning a particular state, I'll now be talking about Donald Trump or Kamala Harris winning a state, obviously. So, lots of fun. I'll see y'all very soon.